Hello, welcome, I'm Hannah, and I'm so excited about today's video because it's in collaboration with Kathryn of Kathryn B Beauty. There's a good chance if you watch my channel that you already watch her channel because we put out a lot of similar content. We're always talking about indie brands, and Kathryn in particular does a lot of really beautiful overhead content where you can really get up close with the shadows. She does reviews of new Luxie collections. She does a lot of like brand overviews. I'm gonna have her channel linked down below, and then once I have the link for this video of hers, I'll also put that down below. If you haven't checked her out yet, I highly suggest clicking those links down below. I'll wait. Okay, and now let me tell you what we're actually doing today. Me and her were discussing what we wanted this collaboration video to be, and the idea came like a light bulb of single shadow superlatives. I thought this would be so fun to do with another person, so I'm not just kind of answering my own prompts, but also she's coming up with prompts that I'm choosing a shadow for, and this is just like your classic high school nominations, and we each chose a shadow to be the winner for each category. So we shared the categories with each other, but I don't know her answers yet, and I'm actually really excited to watch her video and see if we had any like similar lines of thinking, if we even like interpreted the prompts the same way. There were a couple I was less sure about, and I'm curious if I'm convinced by her line of thinking, you know? So let's just get right into it. The first one is the shadow that's most likely to become president. And for this, I was trying to think of a shadow that has a lot of support. A lot of people already like it. A lot of people would like it if they just knew it. And I think I personally would be in support of the shadow as well. I chose Divina Fairy Fire. This is the shadow that seems approachable at first. It seems like it could be just like you and me, but it has this quality to it that just takes it a step up and makes you believe in it, you know? It has this gorgeous yellow base and a bright green flip to it. It works beautiful all over the lid, but I also mostly use it as an accent shade or an inner corner shade, and I think Fairy Fire would get the votes. The next category is most likely to get famous, and for this one I was thinking of a shadow that it doesn't necessarily have the drive from within to persevere, to put itself out there, but it's the kind of shadow that like it would just have like a Charli D'Amelio account, and then people would just follow it because it just has that it factor. People just want to see the future career of this shadow. The one that I'm talking about is Luxie Angel Wings. The shadow, it doesn't try too hard. Some could even call it in some ways subdued, but it also just has a star quality, and once you come across it online, or maybe you're like in the grocery store and you're like a movie producer, you want it to be in your movies. And Angel Wings is the kind of girl that's like, all right, I'll try that out. So I think Angel Wings is definitely destined for fame. The next category is Everybody's Best Friend. And I was trying to think of a shade that everyone that's tried it seems to get along with it. If you haven't personally tried it, you probably have some friends that are like, this shadow's like a really cool guy. And like, if you just meet this shadow, you'll get along with it too. So for this one, I chose Terra Moon's The Cosmos. This shadow is just so beautiful. It has such a gorgeous like blue, cool toned pink flip. And like, if you ever meet The Cosmos, you'll know. The Cosmos is just like good vibes. Good person to be around. Next we have Best Eyes. And for this, I chose a shadow that has something to it that you don't necessarily see on the surface, that you first look at the shadow and you're like, she is beautiful. And then she opens her eyes at you. She does like her little flip, you know? And it's in that moment that you're just completely all in and you're like mesmerized by her beautiful eyes. So for this one, I chose Midnight Nova from Divina. It's such a gorgeous shadow. I've been talking about the shadow a lot lately. It's like a blue with pink sparkle, but I've noticed when I wear this out in person, or even I just look in my less direct light, it has this intense Kelly green flip to it, and that flip, for the purpose of this experiment, is its green eyes. I think Midnight Nova really earns the title of Best Eyes. The next category is most likely to be interrupted by Kanye West during their VMA acceptance speech, a la Taylor Swift 2009. I was channeling her silver sequin gown during this iconic moment, and I wanted to come up with a shadow that I feel like fits the vibe of that moment. That like she's very successful and like if you know her, you know her, but maybe hadn't reached enough widespread appeal yet to be like a household name. But like if you're part of the club, you're like all in and you totally wholeheartedly understand why the club is so important to the club members. So for this category, I chose Moonlit from Divina. This is such a gorgeous, rich silver shadow, and it just like, it has the confidence on its own. If you haven't met it, maybe you wouldn't get it. But once you know Moonlit, you know that Moonlit deserves the awards that are given to it. The next category is Cutest Couple. And there are so many cute couples and it's hard to choose from them, but there was one that stood out to me. I have it on my eyes today, and I just think it's such a good couple. I think that they go really nicely together, but also like they don't look like siblings, you know? They look like two independent beings that just have this synergy, that when they're together, they create something greater than the sum of their parts, you know? But you would never look at these shadows and think that they're two halves of a whole, because they really are wholes on their own. They just also create something magical together. So those two shadows that I'm talking about are Cleona Blaze and Cleona Weathered. I've worn this combo before, and I just really like this like peachy bronze with this chartreusey olive. We'll do a little zoom on my eye. I'm realizing now that I don't have an inner corner shade on, but I really love how these lid shades go together. And for that, they win Cutest Couple. I'm just gonna put Fairy Fire on my inner corner because Fairy Fire gets my vote. Oh yeah. Like, you would never even know that those two are so interested in each other, but once you see them together, you're like, ah. The next category is Class Clown, and this is one that I was actually having trouble thinking of a shadow to win it. I was like looking through all my shadows and nothing was popping out at me, so I decided to look at it from the perspective of a shadow that surprised me. It kind of like popped up out of nowhere and was like, hey, I'm different than what you thought I actually was. Like, maybe at first I thought it was kind of like too shy for me to get along with. Like, it wasn't bold enough to be one of my favorites, but it revealed itself to be special and beautiful, and now I'm happy to have it in my collection. So for this one, I chose Peppermint Kiss from Luxie. This was part of their happy hour collection during the summer, and when I tried it out, I was just like, like it didn't do anything for me. And since then, I've like popped it in the center of looks, or I've used it as like a liner, kind of like tracing the outline of my look. And I've really enjoyed it every time I've used it. So I think Class Clown suits it. Next we have Life of the Party, and this one I had to go with Party Monster from Give Me Glow. Like, it's in the name, and it makes total sense. This shadow is a stunner. It's a knockout. This shadow is up all night, dancing on tables, and making you want to dance on tables also. Probably one of my favorite shadows in my whole collection. It really is just the life of the party. Next we have Most Likely to Start a YouTube Channel, and for this one, the one that popped out at me is Mural from Cleona. This is one of their newer shades from their expansion during the summer, and it's such a good, beautiful shadow, and I just feel like it has a lot to say. I feel like this is a beautiful shadow, and it knows it's a beautiful shadow, and it thinks that people will want to listen to it. Mural is confident, Mural has a point of view. Mural's just gonna start doing like daily vlogs, lounging around in their expensive marble decorated house, and I think it might just work out for Mural. I think I'll watch. Next up we have Most Opinionated, and if you want a shadow that has a lot to say, Forge from Cleona is your guy. Forge is one of the shiftiest shadows I have in my collection is one of their black base multi-chrome, so I find myself not reaching for it that much because it's so like opinionated, and you have to do what Forge wants to do, you know? You can't just like add Forge to a regular old look because Forge wants to steal the show. Forge has such clear flips from red to bronze to green that even in this direct lighting, you could clearly see them. Forge has a lot to say, and Forge is going to make sure that Forge gets heard. And the final category is most likely to happily live alone with 10 cats. And I'm giving that to me. Just kidding. I'm giving that to Adept ACD5, which I feel like I'm always talking about, but I just want to like scream about it from the rooftops until it eventually comes back. It's such a gorgeous, wet looking, shiny shadow. And I thought this one worked well for this category because like it has everything it needs already. It doesn't need anyone else to talk to give it life. It doesn't need to be sold and go into more people's homes, even though I wish it would. It's like a self-sufficient, independent woman, and she just wants to be by herself. She had her career, she had her fun, and she's ready to just be by herself now, even though I won't leave her alone. So these are all my beautiful, juicy swatches. Once again, we have Fairy Fire, Angel Wings, The Cosmos, Midnight Nova, Moonlit, Blaze, Weathered, Peppermint Kiss, Party Monster, Mural, Forge, and ACD5. And here's what they all look like in my little cute palette. I really like this little assortment of shadows. I think it ended up being very me right now. That's going to be everything for today. I appreciate you so much for watching. If you haven't checked out Kathryn's channel earlier in this video, when I gave you the chance, I really hope that you'll click over to her channel now and check it out. If you are new here from her channel, I hope that you enjoy this, and I hope you'll stick around. There's always a lot more indie single shadow content on the way, and that's going to be everything. Bye.